Hello, everybody. Long time no talk. So I'm going to put a little trigger warning on this episode because we are going to be revisiting the case of Joyce Grayson, who was the nurse from Connecticut who was murdered by her patient. I have to say allegedly because he has been charged but not convicted yet. So for those of you who don't know who Joyce Grayson was, she was a 63-year-old mother of 6, also a foster mom to many. In 2017, her and her husband were actually voted Foster Parents of the Year. She was a gem to the community and to everybody who knew her. She was just a light. She had been a nurse for longer than I've been alive. And I'm 35, I'm pretty sure. She was a nurse for the Department of Mental Health and Addiction for 26 years, and then she served as a visiting nurse for over a decade after that. So she was well-versed in nursing. She was one of the vets. She seemed like an amazing person and somebody who really was made to be a nurse and who really worked with a population that is difficult to work with for many. So, my heart goes out to her and her family, of course, and I am crossing all the fingers and toes that justice is served for her and her family because this was something that should have never happened. So we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the day that Joyce was found. And for those of you who don't know the case, she went to work one day, and I guess this was supposed to be a joint visit. Normally when you're visiting a patient who is has potential violence issues, which this patient did. He had a history of rape, assault, and had already violated probation 2 times since he got out in 2020 after serving 14 years for that rape. But I guess there was no joint visit made that day. So she got sent to this visit in what is essentially a group home in Willimantic, Connecticut for sexual offenders. She was sent there alone from what people who worked with her tell me, to fill a med box, a pill box. And that is often a task we do as home health or home health hospice. I think that her company overall should be the one held responsible because this is not our jobs as nurses to determine if a patient is dangerous or not in that moment. It is their job to tell us if we should be on guard or if we should have a joint visit or if we should have security escort us in, because they're the ones who should be doing that due diligence for us, not the other way around. It should never come to the point where somebody loses their life or comes close to losing their life, because that has happened to many home health nurses, for systems to be put in place for safety. And we're going to also talk about some issues that have been brought up with Alara Caring. The family is also going after a settlement with them as well, as they should. So let's talk about the new details that have come out. So this man who had a lengthy criminal record was officially charged. He was brought back to court in April and was charged with murder, felony murder, attempted first-degree sexual assault, just bad. And then, so he was due back in court in June, which that did happen, but nothing really happened. I guess they just talked about him possibly putting in a plea deal. He wants to do I guess that is the best option for people, anyone convicted, is to take a plea deal. I don't think it should be offered, to be quite honest. So he is still sitting in jail on a $2 million bail, which he thankfully has been unsuccessful at obtaining, because hell, I don't even think he should get bail. Let's be honest. The details that have been released, basically, this is how they got the charges placed on him. So they found his DNA at the scene. They also have surveillance footage of him driving Joyce's car, going to a local convenience store, going to a bank, taking Joyce's debit card, withdrawing $400 from it, and they have the GPS monitoring because he had an ankle bracelet. I don't know how long it takes to respond to an ankle bracelet, but the fact that he was able to basically just do errands and nothing seemed to pop up. This whole case is upsetting, and I'm going to link also my previous videos on this. So if you're unfamiliar with the story, you can get more of a background detail, so I don't have to recap all of it. And there's also been jail phone calls for release. He was not originally jailed when he first got arrested back in October, end of October, early November for this. He was arrested for other charges for larceny and drug paraphernalia, because being a convicted felon and on probation, you're not supposed to have any stuff like that. And those phone calls released from that time in jail basically implicated that he knew he did it. He basically confessed to this over the phone call, saying, basically, bro, it was a robbery gone wrong, bro. A robbery gone accident. That's it. A robbery gone accident. He also mentioned that he started using drugs again, and it led him to do what happened. He also was mentioning that he would take a plea bargain because he realized that this is it. So he said, I'm going to take the first offer that they give me as long as the charges are right. Basically, he knew what he did, and he doesn't want to be charged for extra stuff, which I don't even understand. I don't know. I don't care. Like, I've already come to terms that this is it for me. So he knows they're going to figure out that he did it, and they have. But of course, you know, our legal system, everybody has their day in court. So we kind of have to wait for the process, which is, you know, it's very hard considering that we basically all know what happened here. Okay, so Joyce's husband is now also filing a wrongful death lawsuit, stating that the employer repeatedly ignored workers' concerns about safety, about treating dangerous patients. And there was no safety protocols from what I could tell in Alara Caring's any post that they made following up on this, which let me remind you that before they even mentioned Joyce's death, they were posting jobs on their Facebook page. They had also not put anything on their page until everybody on the internet was in an uproar about how are you not addressing this in any way, shape, or form, showing any sort of empathy towards your employee who just lost her life on the job because of your lack of oversight. They're seeking answers to an array of questions, including if there were failures of oversight of Reese by the state, including probation officials in the company that runs the halfway house. So, that's what it is. It's a halfway house for sex offenders, basically. The family also wants to know whether Grayson's employer, Alara Caring, adequately protected her. The chairman and chief executive, Scott Powers, has said company workers were shocked and saddened over Gray's death, and the company was reviewing existing safety protocols. They had no safety protocols. Like I said, when it came down to it, the days following Joyce's death, they didn't mention anything about it. They were posting job listings on Facebook. This is a big conglomerate company who buys out little bitty home health or whatever, and basically that's it. There was no oversight in this. There wasn't even an ounce of empathy until everybody on the internet was pissed off about it, and then they realized, shit, we got to say something now. That should not be what gets you to put up an in memoriam post on your website. I'm just going to say, they have caring in their name. No, it's not in their philosophy, that's for sure. Because Joyce should have never been sent in there. And I think everybody in home health and home hospice understands that when we go into a patient's home, we are taking a risk. And we're counting on our company to calculate that risk for us and say, you know what, we're going to send you with another person. And if we can't send you with another person, you're not going to go at all. It should not be the nurse who has to put her job on the line and stand up for herself and stand up for her life or his life. Because there have been too many nurses who have aides and social workers who have been put in danger because companies are just so lax about it. They don't take it seriously. They don't want to spend that extra money to put safety measures in place. They're willing to take that risk for a tiny smidgen of profit. And another part of the puzzle is in 2016, the Medicaid budget for having these joint visits, meaning two nurses go together or two clinicians from whatever discipline go together to do visits if a patient is deemed dangerous or violent. That actually was cut from the budget a little bit. Yeah. That was taken down a notch. So basically, it's not going to be reimbursed by insurance companies. That is another piece of the puzzle. That is, the funding also isn't there. So when they have to send a nurse out, and that does cost out of pocket for the company. And although to me, that seems like a small price to pay for somebody's life, we know CEOs don't think that way because they're not the boots on the ground. I really am all my love and all my strength to Joyce's family and friends. That is the update I have. We will continue to follow this case, and I apologize for not being more prompt in responding to it, but unfortunately I have a lot going on in life, and I have kept up on this case. I've had these articles in my phone for so long to do this video, and I finally found the time to do it, so I'm happy to do it so that we can continue to elevate Joyce's story so that her story doesn't fall by the wayside. It was like one of these because my light died. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of of Joyce's death. And I just want to remind everybody to go look into who she was as a person. She was amazing. Somebody I think most nurses, most healthcare workers will look up to. And it is such an unfortunate loss especially for her family. So I just want everybody to keep them in mind around this time. This is probably a really hard time for them. It's only going to be the second holidays they've had without her. We're all holding her close to our heart. Most of us didn't know her, but nursing is a huge family. Like I said, for everybody else, just, please keep Joyce's family and close friends in your hearts. I appreciate everybody who is watching, and I appreciate everybody who has subscribed. I finally made it to 5,000, which is great. Thank you for watching. I'm going to post the article down below, or link the article down. I'm going to link the article down below where I got my information from. And what was the other thing I was going to do? Oh yeah, I'm going to link the other videos in this series so that everybody can kind of catch up if they need to. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.